Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. In today's Pick a Card reading, we are looking at a complete reset and where this is happening in your life. In group number 1, we have the Truth and Justice card. So that's for group 1. Group number 2 is the Death and Endings. Seems appropriate for the message that we're looking at today. And then for group number 3, we have Spiritual Struggles. If you feel called to more than one group, that is fine. If you feel called to all of them, that's cool too. Just use your intuition to select the card that feels like it's calling you, and then take the messages from within that reading that resonate. We'll see you there. All right. Hi, group number 1. Welcome to your reading. You chose Truth and Justice, or you felt called to Truth and Justice. So the number 10 standing out to me. This is definitely a reset. The 1 is a new beginning, and the 0 is that void space where the reset happens, where everything is kind of like put back to the original template is what I'm feeling. Something about a template, and this Truth and Justice reminds me of contracts. So it's kind of like things are being reset or rebalanced. And here we actually see the balancing of the scales in the halls of a Amenti. So Anubis is judging whether the heart is equal to the weight of a feather or lighter than a feather. So there's something there as well. It's like a reset in your heart, a reset in your relationships or contracts. Libra, the energy of Libra could be significant, or the sign of Libra. Okay, let's see. Where is this reset happening for group number 1? The Queen of Pentacles. I feel like a shift in how you're able to approach life and how you feel in your body is specifically what this is coming through as for me. I'm getting this sense of like, okay, I can be grounded in the earth and feel safe here. I can feel safe in my body. Things are balanced out. I can move through life gracefully, I just heard. And that's what keeps your heart light. That's what balances the scales. It does kind of feel like a karmic reset as well. And I think that that's resulting in some kind of an enlightenment that shifts your physical body or your experience of your life. Now, this is also kind of talking to me about feeling luxurious. I'm almost getting like 9 of Pentacles energy from the Queen of Pentacles. So it feels like a reset in how you're able to enjoy your physical environment because you're feeling more grounded, because you're feeling healthier possibly as well, and or just more abundant in general. Oh my God, yeah, confirmation. Look at that, 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. This is a huge reset for you, group number 1, in regard to how abundant you feel. This is you feeling safe, secure, provided for. It feels like safe to relax, but also independent. So you can trust yourself to carry yourself. Your body is working well. Your finances are on point. You are feeling contractually free is actually the energy I'm getting. So I do feel like there's some kind of soul contract that you're completing, or a financial or legal matter that balances out in your favor. 8 of Wands. I mean, yeah, group number 1, this is really, really positive. This is really positive. This is the energy of you moving forward in life and feeling like you're making some kind of progress. That's what I'm feeling from this. Making progress in your finances, making progress in how you feel safe to be in the physical reality, feeling abundant, like you've got your needs met. Survival needs no longer a concern, I just heard. Okay, so like your basic needs being met so that you can focus on higher ideals or projects or goals, whatever you want to do. This feels like a very heart-led path because it's like you needed those basic needs to be met so that you could focus on higher things, higher goals, higher spiritual pursuits, knowledge, information, relationships. Yeah, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've talked about this before on the channel, but it was a while back. So we'll do a little refresher. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is like the base. You need those survival needs to be met. You need to have your basic physical needs provided for so that you can go to the top tier, which is focusing on philosophical needs. I'm just hearing the word ecological. Okay, Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, could be something to do with the ecology, the environment. But anyway, I was talking about the hierarchy of needs, and it's like at that top tier, we're focusing on really like higher level spiritual pursuits and concepts. And finding meaning in life. And it's hard to find meaning in life at that higher level if you're just focused on surviving. So I see this, the moon card. Yeah. I feel like this is a big reset for you, group number one, in how you're able to move through life because you're resolving some kind of conflict. And it wanted to come out of my mouth as contact. And when I'm channeling, sometimes it will just, things will just come out. Oh yeah, I forgot that I actually selected this deck intuitively. Spirit said yes to this one, which is it's called the Halls of Amenti. And it's literally talking about that process that is being depicted here in Truth and Justice. So you're definitely overcoming some kind of a contractual obligation of some kind that kept you inhibited in some way in your progress. I'm seeing a lot to do with self-care. Like they just really popped out the cat licking its own paw. So it feels a lot like self-care, ability to care for yourself, to move forward, to progress, to have your needs met. I think psychological and spiritual needs also factor into those basic needs for you, group number one. So it's like your physical needs and your psycho-spiritual needs are kind of like all intertwined in that base layer. This feels very earth magic. It feels very like grounding is going to be really important here. I advance through my own abilities. I was getting something to do with advancement from that Eight of Wands. Okay. I advance through my own abilities. I'm going to get another one. I consume only my fair share. There's definitely balance here, equality, having your fair share. Yeah, it does. It feels a lot like having what you need, but not coveting that too much. Let me see. No, next deck, they said. Okay. Let's see. It just feels like everything in balance. So if you've had like not enough in one area, that's where that is going to be reset. That's where you're going to start seeing enoughness or more than enoughness. Lemon balm, nurture. This is feeling like nature versus nurture, but not in the sense of like how we're brought up and how that it shapes or affects our personality. More like nature is your nurturer, group number one. Grounding, earthing, connecting to your body, getting outside, feeling abundant in nature as though nature will provide for you. It's like feeling as though you can rely on that. And they're taking me back in time to, like I'm seeing, I don't know, I guess this would be like the Pilgrim times. I don't know when that was in terms of chronological time, but it's like being able to go outside and harvest from your crop, feeling as though nature is providing for you quite directly. Like not just going to the store and having the money to buy the food you need. It's like being able to just walk outside and eat berries off the bush. There's something about receiving directly from nature in some way, and whatever that means here. That's what's causing this balancing effect, or that's some kind of contract that you've completed, and now you're able to find more reciprocity in your relationship to nature. That's what it feels like. Intuition. It's interesting that you have the moon card and intuition here. So, I mean, this kind of, it does make sense to me because when we're talking about intuition, grounding is so crucial to that. Like if you're not grounded, it's really hard to listen to your intuition, to trust it, to have that tell you what you need or to lead you toward more of this abundance or to get things moving. So I'm seeing like, again, your physical needs being directly connected to your intuition. It's really hard to trust your intuition if you're in fight or flight or if you're in survival mode. So I'm seeing again those same thing as I was saying before, like the psychosocial and spiritual, physical, all being kind of in that same base category. Landing. Wow. Okay. Look, the number 10 just jumped out at me again. So you have 1010. That could be a code that you're seeing as well. 1010 can represent shifting into a new timeline. I'm hearing something about a base plate. Okay, so this could be about like your your 12D shield base plate getting an upgrade of some kind. If you know, you know. So there's, yeah, because the base plate is connected to the earth realm. Yeah, this does. It feels like earth mother energy, and connecting to that, landing in a new timeline, definitely, because the Eight of Wands is like traditionally depicted in the Rider-Waite Tarot as a bunch of wands flying through the air, and you don't know where they're going to land. And then you have the landing card right underneath of it. So I feel like things are going to land, and they're going to land well. So they're going to come out in your favor in some way here, group number 1. Yeah, okay, so what else? The color blue is really standing out to me, the blue lotus and the color blue here in her skin. This could actually be connected to blue ray or blue beings. There's a lot of blue beings like Syrians, Arcturians have blue skin, blue rays. It's like a whole different thing, but I'm getting something about that as well. Frequency shifting, I'm seeing with the bees. Yeah, frequency shifting. I did mention past, like they were showing me past energy there before, and I'm seeing it here with the blue lotus as well. It reminds me of Egypt, so there could be something about Egypt. And that was actually the 2 cards that we were drawn to intuitively with this reading are both Egyptian, this deck and this deck. So yeah, there's something to do with Egypt here, blue rays, and landing in a new timeline. And this shifts the physical experience of abundance. There's also something about a legacy that they're showing me. The 10 of Pentacles can talk about wealth that's transferred over time to generations that come after you. And I'm seeing something about this time period, Egyptian time periods being significant here. Atlantis. Yeah, something about Atlantis is coming through. Clearing Atlantean timelines could be significant here. I just heard authorship, and they showed me the, it's not a pen, it's a feather, but they showed it to me like a quill. So something about authorship, writing your own destiny could be significant, or physically authoring something. I see clarity of mind here. I see there's several instances that I'm being drawn to the third eye, like she's got the hoop here. Both of these individuals have that circle around the third eye. And then I was noticing that there in the Queen of Pentacles as well. So it feels like the more grounded you are, group number 1, the better you'll be able to see. And something about seeing into the past. So the more grounded you are and connected to nature, the more that you're able to uncover clairvoyantly some information about your past. Maybe you start connecting or visually seeing into a past life, and you're able to connect the dots, or to receive some kind of a spiritual inheritance in terms of like the information, the legacy, the soul history, something about that helping you to land into this higher timeline. It's a lot to do with your psychic, your spiritual abilities, but how that physically registers in your grounded earth experience, your third dimensional body, your mind, all of these things are connected is what they're showing me. And it's directly connected or correlated to your finances. Yeah, because that's how I'm seeing this abundance shifting for you, and how you are able to experience more pleasure, more wealth in the physical human experience. There's something about that. What else? Yeah, they're showing me the feather again. Same thing, that feather there being, is your heart as light as the feather? Keeping your heart light, removing some pressure, kind of what that feels like. Maybe even head pressure, third eye pressure, something blocked in the third eye or crown. Any of the upper centers, actually, because I did notice the color blue, and that's third. That's I meant to say throat, but it came out third eye. Okay, the third eye is more indigo, but that technically is blue. So yeah, there's something about indigo, maybe indigo contracts. If you know, you know. Something about indigo. I'm hearing psychology, something about psychology. All right. Yeah, they're showing me a breakthrough, ascending dragon. Yeah, dragon energy is significant here too. Wow. Okay. Migration. They're showing me the birds flying. Yes, migration. Migration to me speaks about like moving from one timeline to another. You're migrating. Physically going where your needs will be met is what I just heard. Right. I mean, this could be literal in terms of the third dimension, moving from one place to another where your needs are better able to be met or reciprocated by the land or by your work or whatever. But I'm seeing this in like a higher context, a spiritual context of migrating from one timeline to another, going from one that has a lot of density in it, where your heart is heavy, where your frequency is compressed, and therefore you're not able to really connect to that higher intuition or to nature or to ground properly and get your needs met. And then shifting to this higher timeline through the energy of abundance, through the energy of feeling grounded, feeling safe, feeling connected, even if it's just for a split second. That's what they just showed me. It's like if you're feeling abundant for a split second, like you go outside and you sit under a tree and all of a sudden you're connected to nature, just for a moment, boom, you shift into this higher timeline. It can be that simple is what they're just telling me right now. It doesn't have to be complicated. It has to be that simple is actually what they're saying. It has to be that simple, because if it was more complicated, if you made it more complicated for yourself, it would do a disservice to the work you're trying to do here, group number 1. So they're telling me that, there's a shift in consciousness. The blue lotus also reminds me of, I was going to say hallucinogenic, but what I actually heard was hypnagogic state. Hypnagogic state. Yeah, they're talking a lot about the psyche and psychology, and the mother could be significant here as well, like Mother Nature, the archetype of the mother, and having your needs met, being nurtured, being cared for, provided for, like a baby is just given milk or given food or given support in the ways that it's needed. And that creates that sense of security, which is what I think the 10 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles are talking about here. It's like having that sense of security internally, that sense of knowing that I am cared for, I am protected, I have my needs met and provided for. That's the timeline you're landing in. That's the reset that's happening here, group number 1. So what do you need to do, practically speaking? I think that meditation is going to be really helpful. Yeah, they're telling me hypnagogic state again. So getting into some kind of a hypnagogic state, which I believe is between sleep and wake. Yep, they're showing me the moon and the sun here. So that's between sleep and wake. The moon is asleep or unconscious or the subconscious, and the sun represents wakefulness or consciousness. So being in between those two, like when you're kind of daydreaming or drifting into sleep, or like they're showing me somebody sitting outside on a hot summer day, and I can hear these like cicadas buzzing in the background, and it's almost like you get a little bit drowsy. That's what they're showing me, but you like feel really safe and connected. They're showing me it almost looks like Huckleberry Finn or something like that. Maybe that's a synchronicity or a reference for someone. But they're showing me like Huckleberry Finn with like a straw hat. He's got like a stalk of wheat sticking out of his mouth, and he's in like his jean overalls, kind of like sitting hunched over underneath a tree, just drowsing off. And it feels very like slow, laid back. I'm getting the word healthy coming through. It feels like health and being able to just enjoy nature, being connected, being outside. So definitely go outside, group number 1. That's going to help this reset along for sure. Getting into that abundant state shifts your timeline. And they keep saying, even if it's just for a second, it shifts your frequency. And then you're able to bring in more than enough. And then when you feel fully abundant, you don't need to consume more than your fair share, because you're not coming from lack. You're coming from there's always going to be more, because all I need to do is shift into that vibration. And they're telling me sit in that vibration. All I need to do is sit in that vibration, and it shifts. And so it's like an internal to external experience. Yeah, they just brought me back here again. You advance through your own abilities, group number 1. This is your ability to connect to this frequency. This is your ability to reset the contract, your ability to tip the scales in your favor, I just heard. Not even about a contract, they said. It's just past life stuff. But they're talking here about tipping the scales in your favor by nurturing yourself and allowing yourself to be nurtured. Yeah. On all levels. They're showing me all levels of the pyramid. Pyramids could be significant because we did mention Egypt. Tipping the scales. Yeah, there's a lot of coding in this reading, group number 1. So let your higher self absorb the coding and take what you need out of it, because there's resources here that Spirit is telling me to bring to your awareness. which the human ego mind may not fully understand, but the higher self does, and will use that to your advantage. That's what I'm seeing. So it's going to help you land in that timeline. All right, that is the message, group number 1. I hope that this reading was helpful. They're telling me it was. So, but like my human mind is like, I hope it was helpful. And Spirit's like, no, like it was. so that's good. So I love you guys. I'm sending you all the best for this abundant, nurtured, healthy energy for your greatest and highest good. And so it is. I love you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Okay, hi group number 2. I don't normally do this, but I was just pre-shuffling your deck, and I split the deck to do that like downward shuffle, and I caught the death card right in the middle, and you guys chose death and endings. So I'm like starting this reading a little prematurely. I haven't finished shuffling your deck, so let me just do that really quickly. But yeah, that death card there is very, very, very significant. This is the major reset. The death. And it's a new beginning, because death is a rebirth. If we die in one state, we're reborn in another. That's the nature of infinite life. That's the nature of energy. I'm hearing flow. So yeah, you're flowing through some kind of a death rebirth process right now. Okay, we have the 3 of Cups. The cups themselves are actually really jumping out at me. The cups. Vessels, and the teapot, something about a teapot, synchronicities around that could be significant. You have the Hierophant. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles and Justice also here. All right, that's a little extra. Justice. Group number 1 may be significant if you came from that group. This is going to be elaborating on that, is what I'm hearing. And if you are called to go check out that group afterwards, only if it feels like it's calling to you or you get that intuitive yes, then take a look at that. But okay, you have Knight of Swords on the bottom of the deck. All right, so group number 2. I was noticing something about connection to group 1 even before we had the Justice card come out. I actually was prompted by this little guy sitting in the boat. He gave me Huckleberry Finn energy, and I did mention a reference to Huckleberry Finn in group 1. That's why I mentioned that. But yeah, and then that card came out. So there's a shift happening, a death and rebirth, definitely, because you got the Ace of Pentacles as well. So this is a transition with the 5 here in the Hierophant. The number 5 is about transition. It's moving beyond something, I'm hearing, moving beyond death. And the Ace of Pentacles here is talking about, I'm hearing acceptance of a new beginning. Okay, so you may get acceptance, or there's like an acceptance into something, or acceptance of something. Receiving, I'm hearing. Yeah, you're receiving something, because they keep showing me the cups, and that's like a vessel that you pour into. And then the Ace of Pentacles is an offer of something physical or tangible. So I think you're receiving something. They're showing me the coins here in the Justice card. Could be money. Yeah, with the Ace of Pentacles could definitely be money. I remain in balance with my emotions. Okay. Yin and yang, light and dark, masculine and feminine. Whoops. Shit. Sorry, I kicked the tripod pretty badly and it skewed everything. So I think that's kind of part of this too, though. It feels like there's something that you are allowing to die, and it's like you need to reset. Like I just had to reset the angle of the video, and it's like it might feel like a little bit of a jarring experience. I don't know how it's going to look in post editing when I'm stitching those 2 shots together when I clip it out, but it's like it might feel like, oh, something has shifted or changed. It's the same setup, but something has shifted or changed. The angle has changed, or something about the way that it's presented to you, or what you're seeing is going to change. I spread joy. Okay, so there's a lot to do with emotional balance here. Feeling emotionally balanced so that you can spread joy. That feels significant. I'm hearing eternal life, and they keep showing me the sarcophagi. So it feels like there's something that has been preserved, or there's an aspect of you that's preserved. And in that, there's eternal life. Let's get more information. Joy preserves That's what I just heard. Joy preserves. The blue skin. Yeah, there's definitely references from group number 1 coming up in this reading. So I apologize if you don't feel called to that reading. I just need to shout that out for the people who did come from that group, or for the people who were called to go and watch it. Yeah, the blue skin. That was something we talked about there. All right, let's see what else. Purification, cat's claw. Okay, so there's a purification in this death and rebirth. As something is ending, there's a purification process that is occurring, and they're actually showing me like the sacred rites or rituals that they would do to a body after the soul had left. And it's like they would do these purification rituals to preserve the body in a sense. I believe they did that so that when the soul came back, or if they believed that the soul would come back to the body, and so they would have the body preserved so that it could re-enter it. There's something about physical preservation of the body, purification of the body could be significant here, like your physical body, and then how this allows you to have balance in your emotions and to be more in the energy of joy. And I'm seeing something about seeing clearly. They just showed me the Hierophant having one eye here. And I mean, here there's a glowing third eye. So yeah, it's like one eye. Yeah, seeing through the inner eye rather than your physical eyes, learning through that. The inner spark of joy. They just said that again, and they showed me the candle and the flame. The inner spark of joy. There's something in that sets something in motion. They're showing me the books. Books reminds me of knowledge, information, learning, ancient history. I just heard as well. That could be talking about the Akashic record. The books can often represent the Akashic record to me because I see it kind of like a library. I feel like there's something about you purifying some things from the past so that you can move forward with joy and receive something. You receive more. Right. You got to empty the cup of anything that's in there so that you can pour in joy. Yeah, so if the cup's already full, you pour in that joy and it just spills out. So you got to empty the cup, then pour the joy in. Okay. Action. The black snake there, yeah, that's talking about purification once again. So nettle, cat's claw and nettle could be significant herbs to work with at this time, helping this death or rebirth process to occur. But there's something about taking action to purify. Whoa, I just noticed, look, both of these cards have the same astrological implications. So I think Mars and Pluto, both of them, Mars and Pluto. Okay, Mars is about action. Mars is about physical energy and protection. Masculine. Yeah, lots of black here. Black is about, well, it's about purification to me. I see black as the energy of purification. Can be talking about death as well, right? We wear black when we're grieving or mourning something. So you may be going through this death. Ooh, cellular die-off could be significant here as well. Your body does that when it cleanses or purifies. I'm hearing autophagy. Autophagy? I think that is what happens when the cells are turning over. Fasting could be significant for some of you here in this group. Something about fasting. Okay. Yeah, and they're telling me ancient rituals. I believe fasting was an ancient ritual. I mean, it is a modern one too, but it was like a spiritual technique. But they're showing me like the body goes, I'm pretty sure that autophagy refers to when the body goes into cellular repair when you're fasting, because it's not focusing or diverting that energy into digesting food. Instead, it can work on repairing the cells. Something about that. St. John's wort, radiance. Yeah. The deer really stood out to me. The deer. Okay. So deer could be a synchronicity or a spirit animal that's wanting to work with you through this transformation, through this death and rebirth. The deer oh, look at that. I didn't notice. Okay, this card is meant to be here. This must have like picked up, like I store all my cards kind of back to back like that. This is from a separate deck, but it's meant to be here for you. Passion of the Lionheart, Goddess Sekhmet and Fire Agate, Goddess number 888. Crystal Goddess number 888. Whoa. Okay, so a lot of fire here. I did notice the burning house there. This feels like a cellular rebirth for you, group number 2. There's a very, very significant cellular die-off and rebirth or purification process that you're going through, detoxifying, putting things, healthy things into the system. Yeah, and I'm seeing with Sekhmet here, this is like a major rite of passage, And there's something that they're showing me, the cauldron. That could be a synchronicity or symbol as well. But the cauldron here is referring to me of like cooking up the right potion or alchemy or like putting the right ingredients. It could be about food as well, like a reset to your health, like I'm kind of getting here. Passion of the Lionheart, when you had Mars and Pluto. Pluto is about death and rebirth. I can't believe you got the death card as your significator. We had the death card come in that split that I showed you. Oh, splitting could be significant here as well. Cellular splitting, you know, when the cells regenerate and they split like that. Okay. But yeah, there's something about Pluto being death and rebirth. This is a massive death and rebirth process. Oh my God. And I'm hearing Time Lord. Okay. Seclusion. This is giving me hermit energy. Wow, look at the person. I never noticed this person before, but they just showed me her. She's glowing. I mean, it's the light coming from inside the log cabin. That's a synchronicity I've been seeing recently. Log cabin. Spirit was showing me something to do with like logs, wood, building, cabins, things like that. Cabins in the woods. I even watched a Bob Ross video yesterday, and he was painting this like scene out in the woods, and it was dark at night, and then he added a cabin, and he was like, I like to create a story like maybe there was a guy who was living here and he lived by the river. So it's like something about you being in this seclusion or in this energy of the hermit that allows you to go through this intense death rebirth process, cellular transformation at this very fundamental level that is teaching you a lot, or it's unlocking learning within you is kind of what it feels like. It's unlocking learning within you. It's like cellular information. Oh my God, at the bottom of the deck, imagination, and she's holding the paintbrush, and I just mentioned Bob Ross. So this is your ability to paint your life. And he was talking in that show, the episode that I watched, he was like, we got to make some big decisions. We got to decide where we want to put our clouds and our trees. We got to make these big decisions. But guess what? This is your world, and you get to create it. You get to use your imagination to make whatever you want. So this is kind of what I'm seeing, group number 2. It's like you get to tell this story of yours. You get to paint your own reality. You get to create from your imagination, the third eye, into the physical reality. Now, part of this process for you is bringing more joy and allowing your imagination to work through you. But I think that a lot of this physical transformation that may be happening in the body has kind of hindered that, or I'm getting the word impeded. Yeah, it impeded that a little bit because you were so focused on the physical distortions or destruction or things in the physical environment that were very distracting to you. And they're showing me the fires of transmutation. They showed me, this is giving me mother of dragons energy, you know, like when Daenerys walks into the fire and gets the dragon eggs and she becomes the mother of dragons. This is kind of what I'm seeing with the Sekhmet energy. It's like you're walking into the fire, but you're not burned by it. It's like a cleansing. It's a purification. Yeah, cat's claw purification. And you're able to see things more clearly because the cellular purification is actually biologically giving you more clarity of mind and emotions. And I can speak to this very directly. Like when my body is not feeling good, it directly affects my ability to think clearly, to emotionally regulate, to create and imagine my reality in a positive way. We talked about this a little bit in the how does your physical health affect your manifestation? I did an entire reading on that for the collective as I was called to do so. So group number 2, this is a massive shift for you, a complete reset, and it is getting you back into your body. I'm seeing building a new house. They're showing me that log cabin again, and they're showing me clairvoyantly it being built. So it's like you're building a new house. Your body is rebuilding itself. Yes. Your body is rebuilding itself, and it's going through the fires of transmutation to come out more balanced, more knowledgeable, more wisdom. They're showing me the mountains. The mountains could be significant either physically or metaphorically. There's something about the mountains that they just really popped out at me. And the valley, they're showing me the mountains and the valley. What is the significance of that? I was getting valley synchronicities yesterday. They kept showing me valley and river valley. Okay. Could be about like carving a path. They're showing me that the river and the valley are connected to the soul blueprint and the physical body and how that translates, but I still don't know what that's talking about or what that's referring to. The river and the valley, okay. Fire agate just really stood out to me. The crystal fire agate could be significant. I've never personally worked with that crystal. I don't have any fire agate, so I don't know what its energy signature is or what it's good for. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Well, that's relating to war, not to fire agate. But Mars is a warlike energy. Pluto is about death and transformation, or even an uprising of some kind, or revolution. It's a very revolutionary energy. So I feel like you're saying no to something like, I'm going to change my reality in some way. Group number 2. It's a complete transformation of yourself. We have the sun here with radiance. Yeah, it's a complete transformation of yourself. The sun rules your ego, your mind, your physical body, your appearance. Yeah, this is a huge transformation of your body and how that affects your mind, your consciousness, your spiritual presence embodied through the physical. Because that's what ascension is. It is the embodiment of the soul in the physical body. You bring more of your light body into the physical body, and the body has to physically change to allow that to happen. Because if it's operating at a dense carbon material basis, it doesn't have room. It's like it's full, and so the soul can't come into it more. The higher self can't come into the body more. So that's what they were talking about with the emptying. Yeah, it's like emptying the vessel and making it a clear landing point. Oh, that's going back to group 1 again, of the soul coming into the body more. More of the actual soul essence, the whole soul, the eternal soul, the entire soul. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I don't necessarily like the term higher self. And I was talking with my friend Janine about that. And she actually brought it up completely synchronistically. Like I hadn't told her I was having this thought, but she was saying how her friend was preferring to call it the super conscious self, or the super conscious self. Because it's like there's different layers of consciousness. And what I was thinking was I like the term entire self. Like this is the entire you, the entire consciousness, all of the different parts united in that wholeness, in that unity. That's the higher self to me, because it's not necessarily higher or lower. It's just the entire thing. So, and that's what allows for that super conscious approach, or that super conscious awareness. So that's what I'm seeing. This is the reset, group number 2. This is really profound spiritual ascension that you're going through at the physical biological level to hold more of your light body in the vessel. Yes. Boom. There you go. So fires of transmutation, walk through them fearlessly with courage. That's Mars. Yeah. Embrace the death and transformation. Embrace the rebirth that you're going through, because you are being exalted here and you're going to see things balance. You have balance on this side. You have balance on this side. You're going to see things balance out. And psycho-spiritual. Yeah. Again, going back to group 1, psycho-spiritual, things harmonizing, and you having more joy to spread here in the world, maybe even teaching that to others too. Not necessarily even needing to teach them directly, but just like embodying your own joy and walking your own spiritual ascension, that helps teach other people too, because we learn through watching other people. We learn through observing. We learn through, just observing that. And they're bringing me back to Bob Ross again. It's like, I was thinking about that when I was watching the show. He doesn't have to describe every little detail of what he's doing. He will sometimes say how to do it or the technique, but mostly you just learn through watching him do it. And then you can replicate that for yourself. Replication, cell replication. Oh my God, this reading is so multi-layered, group number 2. So, there's a lot to unpack here, but I think I'll leave it there. I think we got to some of the meatier points of what is going on here. Meat, like the physical 3D meat suit, upgrades, death, rebirth at a cellular level, but you do this all while you're already alive. You know, your body is constantly reproducing and healing itself and rebuilding itself from the ground up. So beautiful, beautiful message here for you, group number 2, massive reset. So happy to report that. Take what resonates, leave the rest, but allow your higher self to use the codes or information in this reading to help you with this process if it serves you for your greatest and highest good only. And so it is. I love you guys, and we will see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. You chose spiritual struggles. Now, when I said that, I was like, did they though? Like, did they choose those spiritual struggles? But no, I think we do at soul level to some extent choose the spiritual struggles that our physical self is going to go through, because it helps us to develop that strength, or it helps us develop wisdom through that experience. It's like in this image, they're crushing the grapes to make wine. So it's like we have to, yeah, I'm hearing you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to choose spiritual struggle just for the sake of struggling. Like, struggle for the sake of struggle is not worth it, is what I'm hearing. But there's something in this group here that the reset that's happening, or this shift that's taking place for you, it's I think where you're actually getting to enjoy the wine after all this process of going through these struggles, crushing the grapes, getting your feet all covered in juice and dyed purple. Like it's like you've put in the work, you've done a lot of this hard stuff, and then now you're starting to see the rewards, the fruits of your labors, the wisdom, because the wine reminds me of maturity as well. It's like you leave wine to mature so that it gets that full-bodied taste, and it alcoholizes and things like that. So it's like you've really had to go through this process of being crushed. Yeah, they're showing me coal turning into a diamond, like millions of years of pressure and struggle have catalyzed or crystallized your consciousness into this mature soul that you are. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. Knight of Wands, action orientation, action exploration, feels like adventure, like this has been the adventure of a lifetime for you in one way or another. The Tower, I mean, that's the spiritual struggle. The Tower card is kind of like the divine intervention that sometimes we place in our own way at soul level to learn. The books in the background, like there's books on the shelf here. It's like for the purpose of learning. It's not as punishment, or it's not as struggling for struggle's sake. That does not create progress. What they're showing me is specifically the catalyzing effect that sometimes having struggles, either physically or spiritually or both, can have on the experience and the wisdom and the maturity that you gain at soul level from that. So I'm seeing that these divine interventions of experience have catalyzed this massive expansion for you spiritually. Group number 3, King of Pentacles. Spiritual maturity, physical maturity. I'm hearing sovereignty. Like when I'm looking at that cat sitting here in the King of Pentacles, he's like sovereign. He feels very much in control of the physical domain. He knows what he's doing. He's secure. He's stable. He has what he needs. He knows how to rebuild. Oh, he knows how to rebuild. I am open to love in various forms. And the other thing I was getting here with he knows how to rebuild is like he knows how to make something into something else, or he knows how to put in the work to build something that is more valuable than the initial thing that he was given. He knows how to turn coal into diamonds. He knows how to turn grapes into wine. He knows how to turn lemons into lemonade. I've been seeing synchronicities of lemons all week. And so it just kind of popped into my head. But it's like you're able to transmute. I think that's really what this boils down to. And finding love in various forms. And sometimes it's hidden in the struggles. Sometimes there's like a diamond in the rough, or there's... they just told me that's a synchronicity for someone. Okay, that's diamond in the rough. If you've been noticing that theme popping up, that's why. Is because this is about the transformation or the transmutation of one thing into another. I keep my own counsel. Embrace the all. Yeah, embrace the all. Group number 3. This is you embracing everything that life has in store for you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's like you're able to take it all in stride. That's what it feels like. And get back up on the horse again is what I'm seeing. And this is the reset for you, is I think finally taking that catalyst, turning it into wisdom, and seeing the results. I'm hearing proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Journey. Yeah, I was feeling that from the Knight of Wands. I was like, adventure, something about like putting something into action, or this is the journey of a lifetime is what they're showing me. And it's almost like, in stories, books, movies, shows, whatever, there always has to be an all is lost moment. And that is what it challenges the main character. It challenges them to evolve. It's like a rite of passage in a sense. Every good story has to have that moment of everything falls apart, and then they have to find a way to grow from that, or to evolve out of that, or to heal or repair that, to come back, right? And it's like that is what allows this very satisfying resolution and the climax, and then the denouement and the final resolution. So it feels like there's this journey of the soul development that you've been on. It's the hero's journey, I'm hearing. Yeah, definitely the hero's journey. If you're not familiar with, what is his name? Something Campbell. Just look up the hero's journey. It should come up. But I think Joseph Campbell, I think. And there's like an actual process of like very predictable themes, story archetypes that we go through and that we may experience in our soul journey here as a human. So I'm seeing you being able to keep your own counsel in regard to these spiritual struggles you've been through, like trusting yourself because you've gained this maturity that's very specific to you. Very specific to you. It's like your flavor of wine is very unique. I'm seeing lots of like subtle undertones and hints that you've acquired, or that were added in through all of the spiritual struggles, ups and downs, pursuits, failures and successes that you've been through. And all of those subtle notes, and some of the overtones as well, really add to the flavor and the value of that wine. Like what makes it so special is because it's unique and it has a lot of complexity to it. That's what it feels like. Grace. And this card reminds me of the Temperance card, the way she's pouring between those two cups. So it definitely feels like you've been tested here at group number 3 to have grace through struggles and to continue to pursue things on this journey, to not give up, like keep going and finding ways to catalyze things, finding ways to various forms to get through some kind of complications. I'm hearing the word complications. Magic. You are 100% a magical being. Group number 3. I have no doubt about that. Enter into the garden. Wow. This reset is very magical for you. You're entering into a period of time. This is a major breakthrough. I did want to mention that as well, because when I was pre-shuffling this deck, the card that was on the bottom was breakthrough. Right now it's actually past, and it feels like this is like a portal to exiting the past is what I'm hearing actually for you. Yeah, exiting the past. Let me put this in here then, because it does feel like it's supposed to be here. Exiting the past. Taking what you've learned from the past, mixing it into the present, and using that constructively for what you want to create or manifest in the future, but not letting the past hold you back in the struggles or the challenges that you've had. It's like learning from it, benefiting from that, and moving forward. I just keep getting a lot of wisdom in this group for you, number 3s. Like you are very wise, and it has been hard won. That wisdom was not easily acquired, okay? You had to work for that. You've earned it. You built this all on your own, I'm hearing. Yeah, so this reset for you, group number 3, is you really being able to trust yourself. And I do feel an adventure coming on. I'm feeling like, there's something about to start. Like there's a new phase after this period of spiritual struggle where you have an entirely new storyline coming. Now, that may come with its own struggles, sure, but it's like any good movie. It doesn't start out with the struggle. I mean, maybe it does. Sometimes it does, right? Like those movies that just jump right into the story and it's like an immediate conflict. But I'm seeing more of like it's a slow burn. Like it starts out slow, and then there may be some ups and downs and some challenges and a big long journey that you have to go through, but ultimately it's really satisfying and it's productive in the sense that it is helping you to become who you are. I'm seeing the mirror here. Like you're able to see yourself in new light, or to really appreciate who you've become in this process of all of these different experiences. Your hero's journey is transforming you. It's like this rite of passage or coming of age story. That's kind of what it feels like to me. Group number 3, you're coming of age. You're maturing from the past. You are becoming confident and secure and in your knowing, in your knowledge, in your ability to create physically whatever it is that you need to do. It feels like the story of the entrepreneur who tries and fails and then comes back, tries again, fails again, tries again, fails and succeeds, like very, very much, like very successful. And it's like those satisfying stories that we like to watch. It's like based on a true story type of movies or documentaries where you get to see somebody actually physically go through these hardships and struggles, have a really hard beginning or a tough backstory, and then they rise from that and they evolve past that and they become very successful. There's this movie that's coming to mind, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's the story of a woman who becomes a really successful business owner, and she starts out having nothing, and she goes through a lot of trials and tribulations to get to the success that she ends up building, but she creates an empire, like a full-on empire, and she becomes like a billionaire. So there's something about that type of energy or that archetypal story arc. You're entering into the future by bridging the past. Okay, so like what I mean by that is like you're not taking the past with you, but you're creating a connection between the past and the future through the present. The present is the bridge between the past and the future. So I'm seeing you being very selective about what you take from the past across that bridge of the present into the future. You're like only seeding things in the future that are relevant to what you want to create or what you imagine to be possible or what you're looking to see back mirrored to you, right? Crystal, they're showing me something about crystals as well, like the crystals dangling on the lamp and the way that the mirror looked sort of crystalline to me. So you want to crystallize the future in that higher vibration and have that create results. These were kind of looking like amoeba for some reason to me, like little single-celled organisms. And that reminds me of evolution as well. It's like we all come from this, like, what's the word? It starts with a P. Oh, shoot. I can't remember. It's like the soup that we all came from. I don't know if that's literal or what, but it's like well, not the soup, but you know what I mean? Like we all started out as like these single-celled organisms, and then we grew through that Darwinian process of evolution, if that's what we're talking about here. Rather than divine immaculate conception or whatever, but it's like there's something about evolution. Yeah, there's a process of evolution that you're on here, group number 3. The other thing that these were talking to me about, it's because they're coming out of these like little bean things, and it reminds me of magic beans. You do have magic. So it feels like you're getting some kind of like magic propulsion that really grows you or sets you on this adventure. It feels like an adventure, like Jack was just going about his business and going to sell the family cow because they were having a hard time financially, and then he buys these magic beans, and then all of a sudden this story launches off and he goes through this process of self-development in this way. So I'm kind of seeing that here for you, group number 3. So if you do experience any of these struggles, if you do come up against any kind of like pitfalls in your journey, just know that this is part of you becoming this hero in your own journey. This is you developing those traits, those skills, those strengths, whatever it is that you need to be able to create the life that is going to be very satisfying for you at soul level. It's like your soul really gets the benefit of this lifetime because you don't play small. You really embrace the journey, you embrace the struggles, you use them, you catalyze them, you transmute and transform yourself. And in that process, the journey makes you who you are, and it really strengthens you. There's a lot of good that comes out of that, is what they're showing me. Number 29 just stood out. Somebody could be 29 years old, or the 29th of a particular month could be significant. The Tower card, they're telling me it's connected to the Tower. What's that about? Saturn return. 29 years is usually around the time that we have a big Tower moment in our life, when Saturn return hits and we have to shift our entire life to better align to the trajectory of our soul. And if we're not doing that, it's like physically things get shaken up, and it's like the proverbial earthquake in our lives that repositions us. So I'm seeing something like that, whether or not you're 29 or it's a Saturn return. It's like that's the archetype, that's the energy imprint of whatever this is that we're talking about here. But that is a reset, right? The Saturn return resets you. It puts you in the position that is going to be for your higher alignment. It puts you a little bit, sometimes uncomfortably, into the arena that's actually going to benefit your soul growth. And if you're not in that, it can feel like a crisis. It can feel like, like midlife crisis, or quarter life crisis, or it feels like there's like this restlessness or this desire to do something more. And it can be as a product of this dark night of the soul type of moment. But like I said, it produces so much rapid and radical change that's the magic in your life, is that you're faced with this opposition, or this question, or this unmet desire, or this need for physical change because of some kind of something falling apart, or being faced with a physical implication or impediment that makes you need to change. It's like you can't go any further down that path. You've hit a roadblock. You need to reposition. And I'm seeing you having gone through this in the past. So I don't think this is your first rodeo, group number 3. I don't feel like this is your first time going through this process. You've done it many times, either in past lives, in this lifetime, or both. And so you have a handle on what to do here. I think you can really trust yourself to, keep your own counsel. You can trust yourself here, group number 3, to be able to make magic out of whatever it is that you're facing. All right. So I really see this reset here being positive for you, because it puts you into, it launches you on this journey. And they keep showing me with this Enter card, they keep showing me the scene in The Hobbit when Bilbo finally decides to go on the journey. He finally decides to join the company, and he runs out the gate with the contract in his hand going, I'm going on an adventure. So it feels like there's something about this type of an adventure where, yes, there's challenges, but you really do get the gold at the end, right? Like you develop into an amazing person, and there's a lot of treasures and magic along the way. So it's totally, totally worth it. All right, group number 3, that is the message that I have for you. What a beautiful reset. This is a reposition, divine intervention, and you catalyzing this massive growth on your spiritual development journey. So I'm sending you lots of love for the highest effect of this adventure to serve your soul in its growth and development, in your evolution and your progression. All right, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here on the channel, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.